session from Krishnapachari, sir, with respect to Agile Egos. Let me give a quick introduction about Krishnapachari, sir. Sorry,
Krishna Kumar,
Krishna
Krishna Kumar.
Krishna Kumar Chinnappachari, sir. He is a SPCT and currently he is working as an engineering delivery leader, independent consultant and trainer. And he also worked on NLP techniques, right, in the past, and currently practiced few NLP techniques from his side. And yeah, with respect to more introduction, I am handing it over to Krishna sir. So please take it forward.
Thanks, Sharath. So I'll share my screen. Yeah, no, guys, confirm. You can see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. Okay, so quick introduction about myself. So I've been with IT. Okay, 1 minute. Yeah, so I've been in the IT industry for last 25 years. So 14 plus years into Agile coaching. That includes 4 years Scrum Master and 10 years as Agile coach as well. I also led the Agile transformation as a site Agile transformation leader for a 1,000 people organization. First 11 years I worked in traditional ways of delivering as well, and I'm a safe program consultant. I conduct trainings on safe, all the safe related trainings like Scrum Master, Product Owner, POPM, Release Train Engineer, Architect, Advanced Product Management, everything. And also worked in all three types of organizations, product-based companies like Philips, Sabre, JDA Software, and also consulting firms like Accenture, Cognizant, C-Prime, EPAM, and also worked in captive centers. And I did work on all this, some of these tools hands-on, like CA, Agile Central, HPQC, all those things, and also been contribution to the communities of practice in building the Scrum Master community of practice, and both within and external. And so that is my quick background. So let's get to the topic. So today's my session is my topic is Agile Egos that can't be neglected for the transformation journey. So that is my topic. So the agenda, how I'm going to structure is for the next 45 minutes. So this is how it's going to be. So first I'm going to talk about 1 minute about 16th annual survey of state of Agile by version 1 that was published last year. So I'm going to spend a minute on that to talk about what is the insight about current state of Agile, right? That is the first point. Then I'm going to talk about what are these Agile Egos about. I'm going to give you an introduction about what is this Agile Egos means, and then I'll get into deep dive into the topics, mainly focused on Scrum, where I'll talk about all the Scrum role, different Scrum roles based egos, and how will they impact the overall transformation journey, right? So we have the Scrum Master. As you know, all of you guys must be knowing the three predominant roles in Scrum is Scrum Master, Product Owner, and team members. Of course, apart from that, we also have manager and Agile coach as well, right? That is not traditionally, that is not there in the Scrum framework, but it is there in the organization, right? So I'm going to talk about all of them. So that is primarily the predominant focus of my talk is going to be. Then what are the remedies? So now that we see what are these egos and how it's affecting the overall transformation journey, so we will see what are some of the remedies. Then followed by last 10 minutes, I'll keep it for question and answers for you for all of us to interact and exchange ideas. So you can hear me clearly, right, Sharath? Can you please confirm?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So the 16th annual survey of state of Agile 2022 that was published by digital.ai. Formerly it was called version 1, which is again one of the major tool vendor, Agile tool vendor. So they did a survey on between July 2022 and between August 2022 before the SAFE Summit, and they had around 3,200 respondents who gave their opinion about what is the state of Agile in the industry. Right? If you look at this, 42% of the insights was saying that not enough leadership participation and not enough knowledge about Agile, general organization resistance to change. These are the some of the basic impediments is what this Agile state of reports talked about. My focus will be mainly on these two aspects, the 1 and the 3. I'll not go to talk about second one because there's a lot of information on Agile on the YouTubes. Of course, we need to choose the authentic material or authentic trainers. Apart from that, otherwise there is a lot of information in the internet, right? So my focus is mainly on the first and the third bullet, where it is talking about mainly about why people do behave like that to offer resistance to change, and why enough leadership participation is not there in the Agile transformation journeys, right? So, and my focus is mainly on the Scrum. Again, we have so many other tools like Kanban, XP, Safe, other things. This particular talk is I'm going to mainly focused on Scrum framework because Scrum is the most popular Agile framework in the industry. So my talk is mainly focused towards Scrum. So what are Agile egos? So the plain English definition of ego is that a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance, right? So that is the simplest definition of ego means, right? So what is Agile ego? So any of the or all of these following behaviors or expression that you see in an Agile team or organization, I call it as an Agile ego. For example, it could be anyone: Scrum Master, product owner, manager, team member, or a product owner, or Agile coach. They can say any of these expressions. I know it all, right? So I've gone through all the certifications, trainings. I know Agile. I don't need to know this as a manager, as a leader. I no need to know it. It's agility is for only for my team. It's not for me, right? How you guys should have seen people are commenting like this, right? Or people might sometimes they say I don't need a coach because I'm already a highly experienced guy. Or people with simplest thing is people, a lot of people would have say we use Scrum or we do daily stand up, so we are Agile. So these are the some of the myths that is there in the industry. So these are the some of the things where I would classify these as not really getting the depth of the Agile mindset, but just superficially talking about this. These are the some of the Agile egos that we encounter in our day-to-day life is what I prescribed it as Agile ego. So now getting into the in depth, as I mentioned, right, the Scrum has three predominant roles: Scrum Master, Product Owner, and developers, meaning team members, right? So coming to Scrum Master specific egos, if you look at it, he or she might generally come up with this baggage, like I'm a certified Scrum Master or a professional Scrum Master one. I don't need a mentor or a coach. I know my stuff because I'm a Scrum Master. I'm authorized to run all the events or facilitate all the events, run the meetings, right? Or I have been a Scrum Master for so many months or years. I've been a project manager for so many months or years. So now I'm getting transition, moving from project management role to Scrum Master node. But do you really shift that mindset from the traditional project management to Scrum Master mindset is the question we need to ask. And or if you are an experienced team member, like a developer or a tester for so many years or months, now I also want to do the Scrum Master role. So then you're bringing your lot of pride into it. And the other thing is, you as a Scrum Master, you always want to stick with only with Scrum. You never want to learn any other agility frameworks, right? So these are some of the Scrum Master egos that we encounter. Again, these are not the exhaustive list. These are some of the things where the sample representation of what I thought I will share with all of you guys. So what is the impact? So the impact is that, see, the moment you say you are a certified Scrum Master, things like that, right? You are trying to demand respect. You are not commanding respect. It doesn't work like that, right? See, just because you have a certification on your belt, see what requires is in the industry, and when you have to build relationship with the people, with the teams, with the organization, right? We need the Scrum Master need to start commanding respect, not demanding respect. Similarly, once you say I don't need a mentor or a coach, then where is the question of continuous improvement? Do you know all the stuff in the agility world, the Scrum world? There's no absolutely no way you can learn and unlearn new things. That is a question we have to ask. And if you are claiming yourself as a Scrum Master for so many years or months, do you really got the mastery over Scrum? See, the meaning of Scrum Master is master. Do you really have the mastery over Scrum? the foundational principles, the pillars, right? Transparency, inspection, adaptation. Do you really got the mastery of the entire Scrum, how it is built, right? If you are a project manager, have you really shifted from your traditional mindset to agile ways of working, right? I think we also saw about Cotis talking about inverted project triangle, right? So do we really shift from traditional mindset to the agile mindset? Those are the questions that we really need to question ourselves. If you're a developer or tester, again, as a challenges, as a team member, have you gone through all the challenges? Do you empathize with everyone? And now that you are acting as a Scrum Master, can you empathize with them and help them in case of any impediments that they're facing in their day-to-day life or in achieving the sprint goals? And if you are saying only if you are always stick with Scrum Master, don't you want to explore any other frameworks like Kanban, XP, or any other thing, or any other thing that is really helping the overall ways of working for the team, right? So those are the questions that are really we have to ask. Otherwise, the overall impact when it comes to transformation, see, these are the impact, right? So these are the impact to the overall transformation journey. People may not get opened up because you're building a wall, right? Or you're going into isolation. Like you're saying that you're a Scrum Master, you deserve to teach or preach, right? People will consider you as a preacher, not as a coach. Scrum Master is supposed to be a team level coach, right? So people will start considering you as a preacher. And of course, all these events and all might happen, but mechanical Scrum will happen, right? Because the Scrum Master will be treated as an organizer, not as a real facilitator. And as we already discussed in first 2 sessions as well, right? So you will see a lot of outputs. You may not get real business outcomes, less or no outcomes, or only few benefits of Scrum. You can still get some benefits of Scrum because you are following Scrum, but it is not really the real outcomes, business outcomes. You'll start getting it, and you'll also start seeing a lot of team dynamics. Of course, the moment that there is a team, there is always a dynamics is already there. But if you're as a Scrum Master, if you're not really understanding your role, you're not committed to your role as a Scrum Master, you unnecessarily introduce a lot more team dynamics that could also lead to attrition, right? And the subsequent effect will be that the team will take a lot more time to becoming as a high performance team or a self-organized team. It takes a lot more time, right? And if Scrum Master is not scaling up, ignorance on the other agility options, as I mentioned, Kanban, XP, or any other frameworks, or what is really needed in the context of the organization, right? As Koti also mentioned, right? We have to see the current context, how it is operating. Some of you guys also asked questions. What is the balance that we need to give to business priorities versus agile transformation? So it's very important that we understand the current organization context as well, right? And not just only preaching on the Scrum events, right? So we need to have that balanced approach, right? And the overall the byproduct of this will be that people will start losing trust in the Scrum Master role itself, or they don't even respect Scrum as a framework itself, saying that okay, this Scrum will not work for us. So these are some of the agile the Scrum Master specific to Scrum Master egos and the impact in the overall transformation journey. So next I'm going to focus on product owner egos, right? So again, some of them you might see, some of them might sound duplicate, but some of them are specific to the role. If, for example, certification thing, I'm a certified product owner is another ego product owner might bring it on the table. So he, product owner also might think he doesn't need a coach or a mentor. I know as a product owner, I know the product in and out because I've been with this domain and this product right from the beginning, right? So they might know this product in and out, but it doesn't mean that are they really collaborating with the rest of the folks is the question we need to ask. I've been a product owner for so many months or years, and I've been a project manager. So again, the Scrum Master, just like Scrum Master, right? Here the shift is happening from the project manager to product owner. But are we really changing the gears from the project manager to product owner? Right? Again, I'm a developer and a tester for so many years. Now I'm started to taking up the product owner role. I'm a business analyst. This is another classic one, right? I've been a business analyst for so many months, or some places where there's a people manager also, right? They also want to get into product management or product owner. So they might also have this kind of ego saying that I have been a manager or above, could be senior manager, director, whatever it is, for so many years or months. So what is the impact? Again, as I mentioned, right, it's demanding respect will not work. It's all about commanding respect, working closely with the team. So, right, and continuous improvement, learning, unlearning is very important. As I mentioned, right, what you might know the product in and out, but what about collaboration with the engineering teams? Right, and do you really own the product? If you are a product owner for so many years, again, the meaning of product owner is you own the product, just like Scrum Mastery, right? Mastery or Scrum, just like product owner. Do you really own the product? Are you end-to-end accountable for the product? Are you able to manage all the stakeholders? So is that are you really fitting yourself in the shoes of the product owner is the question that we have to ask. As I mentioned, if you are moving from a project manager to business owner to product owner, do we really shifted from traditional mindset to agile mindset, right? So those are the questions that we need to ask. Again, if you are a team members, do you really understand the pains of the team members as an engineering team? So if you represents mainly the business part, right? Business part, but do you also understand the pain points of the engineering team members, right? And if you are a manager, are you also moving your role from see again, manager, it requires you might have a people responsibility, right? But when it comes to product owner, you may not have any kind of people responsibility, but you own the product end to end. Do you really shift that in that role as well? Is a question that we have to ask. So what is the overall impact? So the overall impact is that people may not open up because they simply again follow it, because product owner is saying asking us to come up with some requirements or backlog items, stories, whatever, epics, features, whatever you say, people may not open it. They simply try to do it, right? There is not much of collaboration opportunities, right? Because they blindly think that our product owner knows everything. So people will simply follow you, no or less collaboration. Or later on, there could be a blame games, right? Saying that, okay, the product owner didn't give us enough clarity about acceptance criteria or a definition of done, things like that, right? All those things, it's like doing traditional product management in sprints in a 2 weeks time boxes, right? So it is like old wine in a new bottle, right? So that is a kind of mentality teams will start operating in. And then, as I mentioned, right, the overall benefit of Scrum also will be very less. And the in terms of the product owner role itself, right, the overall product success rate also might go for a toss. So again, this is attrition is also another the other impacts that we already discussed: attrition and team not moving to self-organized mode, because the product owner is always trying to drive the show, not allowing the team members to step up, right? So and the team will also start losing trust in the Scrum Master and the Scrum process itself, because the product owner is always trying to intervene, and Scrum Master is also, if he's not stepping in to influence or course correct the product owner, right, then the whole team or the organization itself will start distrusting in the Scrum process itself or the Scrum Master itself, right? So these are the some of the egos the product owner brings on the table, and that impacts the overall transformation journey. So now let's look at it from the team members' perspective, right? Developers. In Scrum, we call it as developers. When we say developer, everyone is everyone is acting as a developer, even though it's a tester or a database engineer. So because everyone is contributing to the development of the product, right? So I simply replace the word developer as team member, just to keep it simple. So what are some of the egos that you can see it in the team members? So I'm a certified Scrum developer or a certified professional Scrum developer, right? That could be one of the tag. Or being a techie, I don't need a mentor or a coach. I know my stuff. This is what I've seen it, even though in some of the agile transformation engagements, right? So there are some tech leads or architects or else, right? They need they are techie. They don't want to be coached. I mean, that is a kind of ego or resistance that we see it. And even these members also, right? Some of them are there from the beginning, so they know the product in and out, and they have been a techie for so many years. And sometimes they also mention that this is the way they have been doing agile. Just because they do daily stand-up or some events, right? They think they've already become highly matured, right? And that is a complaint. I mean, the justification they gave, saying that This is the way we have been doing Agile and Scrum. And they think, okay, so some of these meetings, ceremonies does not make sense to me, or it's simply a waste of time. These are the kind of resistance that the team members are showing on a day-to-day context. So they don't even really understand this. These are all Scrum events, right? So what is the impact? As I mentioned, right? It is all about working together, commanding respect, not demanding respect, and it's all about collaboratively working with the Scrum Master, who is our coach, team level coach, and also the product, who is the business representative, right? And continuously improving it. If this is the way you're doing Agile and Scrum, then why do we need an external coach or a Scrum Master, right? So, and why do organization has to go towards Agile transformation journey? We need to start thinking about it. And as I mentioned, right, so people don't even understand Scrum. All these Scrum events they're called events. They're not just meetings or ceremonies, because even events there is something significant is happening. You are either inspecting and adapting a product backlog or a sprint backlog or your sprint goal, right? Or the increment, the artifact. These are the three main artifacts of Scrum, right? Product backlog, sprint backlog, and the increment, the potentially releasable increment. We're inspecting each and every event, at each and every event, one of these artifacts. So that's why it's called events. They're not just ceremonies or meetings, right? So these are the things that we really need to get to the skin of the game. So what is the impact, overall impact, because of these egos displaced by the team members, right? People may not open up, especially freshers or junior members in the teams. So you might tend to see subgroups are getting formed, right? So in any game, right, even if you take a sports game and all, right, it's all about 11 members in a team, right? In a cricket team or a football team, it's not about junior or fresher. It's all about working together, right? So all these things, groupism might get formed. So people, if you're a very highly techie and experienced one, no collaboration might happen, or later on there could be blame games in the retrospectives, or even in the retrospectives, such things may not come up as well, because people are afraid to open up, right? Again, as I mentioned, right, you will start seeing this traditional waterfallish. We are trying to do it in 2 weeks sprints. So lesser benefits of Scrum, unnecessary team dynamics, constant conflicts because of this. Some of the team members' egos and all, right? Constant, you'll see the constant conflicts, ineffective sprint events, especially the retrospective itself. People are not even opening up, right? All these things will lead to the overall transformation journey, and that will impact the overall team in moving towards the high performance team, right? And that will, as a byproduct, it will create an impression that the entire engineering teams, the engineering leader are also there. They will also start seeing they don't really get to develop the trust with the engineering teams or the organization for any kind of further investment for expanding this agility into rest of the other Scrum teams or Agile teams. So these are some of the impacts because of the team member egos. So now the next one is Agile leader or a manager or above, right? It can be even, again, treat this as manager or above means it could be senior manager, director, VP, whatever it is, or C-level also, right? So I'm a certified Agile manager or a leader, PAL, professional Agile leader or a certified Agile leader, right? Some people have that kind of badge carrying it out, and they think, okay, just because you become a manager and above, they also think that I don't need any coaching or a mentor. I know my stuff. I know how to drive this transformation journey in my organization. I know this product in and out, right? And I'm always up to date on my organization dynamics and team dynamics. I think we already saw this. Eric talked about market dynamics, enterprise dynamics, business agility dynamics. So many things, right? So many things are happening in the market, in the industry, right? So we cannot say you know everything, right? You always need to be on your toes. You need to constantly learn, unlearn, empathize, collaborate with the teams. So it's very important to know both the dynamics, organization level dynamics as a manager, and also the team level dynamics as a Scrum team. And this is my classic example for a manager. He says, okay, agility is for my teams. So it's not for, okay, I brought in Agile coach or a Scrum master is there. Okay, you go ahead and do the transformation. So it's not for me, right? That is a kind of attitude displayed by some of the managers. Or it could be that I've been a product owner or a scrum master, developer, tester for so many years, or I have been a manager for so many years, right? So these are some of the egos that will really impact the overall transformation journey in the organization. So what is the impact? So continuous improvement is missing out, right? If you know the product in and out, what about the entire empowerment for the teams, Scrum teams or Agile teams, so that they can run as an independent business team, right? So that you can take up as a manager, you can take up the more strategic initiatives, right? Are you a true servant leader if you understand all these dynamics, right? So these are the questions that we have to ask yourself as a manager. So the overall impact because of these egos displayed by the manager level is that, as I mentioned, people may not open up, or simply, sometimes I've also seen people simply get confused because they simply try to follow you, or they can be confused with the role with your Scrum Master and Agile coach also, because there is a manager who is also trying to coach. Especially I've seen this in the events itself. The manager doesn't keep quiet, right? So if he has any, he or she has any clarification, they can always check with the Scrum Master offline. But in the event, if that is they're also trying to get to coach, it's like too many cooks spoil the food, right? I've seen this number of times. So there is a lot of confusion between the team members about who is the real coach, Scrum Master or Agile coach as a manager, right? Or you might end up creating hybrid culture, little bit of Agile culture, or traditional role culture is still there, but with the flavor of Agile. So you might contribute to the creating not purely Agile culture, but a hybrid culture, right? So these are some of the impacts because of the managerial egos. And as I mentioned, right, disbelief in Scrum or agility, Scrum Master, and the entire distrust that might happen with the entire Agile team or Scrum team because of this chaos that you're introducing. You're not really trying to understand where your role as a manager fits. It's all about empowerment, right? So again, this might also result in no further investment in going towards the agility for rest of the team members. Rest of the teams in your engineering organization. So the last one, of course, I have not we need to include Agile coach as well. So sometimes there could be internal change agents like internal change Agile coach, or an external contractor coach are also brought in, because he or she also plays his role. Again, some of the egos that is coming to my observation is that I'm a certified Agile coach. It could be anything, ICP, ACC, SPCA, whatever it is. I don't need a mentor. Even as an Agile coach, he or she might think, okay, I know everything, right? I know Agile in and out. So again, that is another headweight, right? I know again, the Agile coach also might think I am also up to date on all the organization dynamic, team dynamics. I've been a Scrum Master, product owner, or a manager or above for so many years. I've been a coach for so many years. So what? Right? So again, it's all about commanding respect, not demanding respect. So if you know Agile in and out, have you reached Nirvana state? Right? So the moment you get engaged with any teams, are you able to create that impact? Well, within a few months itself, have you? Because if you are claiming yourself as an Agile expert, have you really reached a Nirvana state is what we have to question, right? And empowerment of, if you know all the organization dynamics, team dynamics, have you really empowered your Scrum Masters? So that your Scrum, in your absence, Scrum Master should be able to build that required agility in the teams, right? So these are some of the questions that we really need to ask ourselves. And I've been a coach for so many years or months, right? Is the real shift in you happened as a coaching mindset? Do you really understand when to act like a teacher, mentor, coach, or a consultant or an advisor? Do we really differentiate these things? Because it purely depends on the context. A team will always go through so much of changes, right? If you look at Tuckman's team stages of development, they go through forming stage, the storming, norming, and high performance stage. Team is always going through different phases of maturity, correct? So we really need to fine tune our coaching style to fit their needs, right? And just because I'm an expert in one of the framework like Scrum Master or a Kanban, right? you cannot restrict yourself, right? Because we need to explore what is really working in other, like your engineering practices or Kanban process improvements or reduce waste, things like that. We can explore a lot of other frameworks or create a custom framework which is really working for you, right? So those are some of the things that we really need to think about it. So the impact is people may not open up, as I mentioned. Most of them are, as I mentioned, right? Or people might get confused with your role as a coach, with the Scrum Master and the manager as well, and you'll see very less benefits. Or systemic impediments remain. As an agile coach, you're supposed to be a system thinker. Ensure that you bring all the issues on the surface, and you may not solve it everything, but work with the leaders and change agents to ensure that do a problem solving to ensure that the systemic impediments, organization impediments are removed. If these things are not really acted, all these systemic impediments will still continue to be there, and overall transformation journey might take a bigger toll on everyone, including yourself, because your contact might also get closed, or people might not don't want to continue with you as a coach, right? So these are some of the impacts are these consequences the agile coach's ego brings on the table. So just a quick question. Most of my slides, there was one common phrase in the previous slides. Can anyone take a guess? Literally, there was one common phrase was there in the previous slides.
Anyone from the audience want to answer that?
Yeah.
Can raise their hand.
Yeah, someone has raised it. Yeah, please give it a try. Can you unmute him, Gaurav? Can you please unmute him?
P. Ranjan. Right.
Hi.
Yeah, hello,
Hi.
Priyanka Ranjan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ranjan.
Ranjan here, Priya Ranjan here. Most of the common stops whether it's a Scrum Master, whether it's a PO or Agile Coach. So that's fine that they are part of done the certification and all. But down the line, how in every company the perspective of working, the culture is being different. So that's what. Even if a person is more certificate has done also, the culture is being different. So while somebody is going to that one, and the way you have explained, it's better because the ego comes into picture where I'm a certified coach, so I'm a certified Scrum Master, and though he knows everything, he doesn't have to show that to ego that I know everything, and some of the persons, even the coach, doesn't want to listen at all to their candidates or to their team members. They think that they know everything and they will going to coach in that way itself. But going to a different organization, if they will going to gel with the persons, how the things are being properly not going, why the reason.
Ranjan, sorry, in the interest of time, we'll come back to Q&A in the last 10 minutes. So my question was, what is that common ego phrase that you guys saw it in the previous slides?
That means like I know everything and the certified. Yeah. That's what the meant to agenda.
Yeah. Anything else? Okay. So in the interest of time, let's go ahead, and then we'll take up in the last 10 minutes. We'll also discuss. So if you look at all the slides, it is like this is the one. Of course, apart from certification, this is the one, right? I don't need a mentor or a coach. I know my stuff. That was the common phrase, irrespective of the roles, right? So that was the common one. So let's look at this video, which is just 2 minutes. Why everyone needs a coach. Can you hear the audio, Gaurav?
No audio. Can you run it again?
How do professionals?
Now we can hear you?
Yes.
Yeah.
You need to play it again.
How do professionals get better at what they do? How do they get great? And there are two views about this. One is the traditional view. That is that you go to school, you study, you practice, you learn, you graduate. And then you go out into the world and you make your way on your own. That's how doctors learn. That's how lawyers do, scientists. Now the contrasting view comes out of sports. And they say, you are never done. Everybody needs a coach. The greatest in the world needs a coach. So I tried to think about this as a surgeon. Pay someone to come into my operating room, observe me, and critique me. It seems absurd. Expertise means not needing to be coached. So then which view is right? Turns out there are numerous problems in making it on your own. You don't recognize the issues that are standing in your way, or if you do, you don't necessarily know how to fix them. And the result is that somewhere along the way, you stop improving. And I thought about that, and I realized that was exactly what had happened to me as a surgeon. So I asked a former professor of mine who had retired, his name is Bob Osteen, and he agreed to come to my operating room and observe me. The case, I remember that first case, it went beautifully. I didn't think there would be anything much he'd have to say when we were done. Instead, he had a whole page of dense with notes. Just small things, he said. Did you notice that the light had swung out of the wound during the case? Another thing I noticed, he said, your elbow goes up in the air every once in a while. That means you're not in full control. It was a whole nother level of awareness. He was describing what great coaches do. And what they do is they are your external eyes and ears, providing a more accurate picture of your reality. They're recognizing the fundamentals. They're breaking your actions down and then helping you build them back up again. After 2 months of coaching, I felt myself getting better again. And after a year, I saw my complications drop down even further. It was painful. I didn't like being observed. And at times I didn't want to have to work on things. I also felt there were periods where I would get worse before I got better. But it made me realize that the coaches were onto something profoundly important. I think it's not just how good you are now, I think it's how good you're gonna be that really matters.
So that was the reason why everyone needs a coach, guys, right? Including the coach himself, right? So now let's get into the last part. What are the remedies? Some of my remedies, what I for all the problems that I stated. Here are my thoughts. Again, these are not the only solutions, but these are some of my thoughts to wrap it up. Scrum Master remedies. So it's very important that the Scrum Masters, we need to start developing these effective Scrum Master traits. Become more passionate about agile ways of working in Scrum, because that's why it's called Scrum Mastery, right? Become more creative, right? Authentic. Be yourself originally, but at the same time understand the organization context and adapt yourself to become a better Scrum Master. Adaptive, influential. You should be able to not just teach as a coach, right? You should be able to influence as well. You should be courageous. This is where Scrum values, courage, openness, focus, commitment, respect, right? All those things will come into picture. Live by agile values and Scrum values. And outgoing, you need to build that rapport with your other team members, everyone, product owner, everyone, right? Interpersonal skills. Accountable and responsible to ensure that Scrum is understood the right way and it is being used that gets the best business outcomes, right? So Scrum talks about inspect and adapt, right? It's purely built on empiricism. It's very important to understand this. And as a Scrum Master, you need to build that interpersonal skills without authority. You will not have any kind of people responsibility, right? You need to stay humble, empathetic, listener, observer, and a true leader, servant leader. Again, this is a big topic. We cannot cover this in one session. So at the same time, solve problems and collaboration through collaboration and facilitation. You should be, as a Scrum Master, should be both dispensable and wanted. Whenever there is an impediments that our teams is facing, they are stuck, right? You are definitely needed. Wherever you think teams are becoming more and more self-organized, you should be able to dispense yourself. That is where team can become more high performance self-organized teams. And you need to be a constant learner. You need to be communicative. right? Irrespective of the team or organization, right? I think this is it's very important that we have to start afresh with any team or organization, right? So again, the last year when you look at Kohli, right? You have to start your game, and he hit a very incredible six to Harris Rauf in India versus Pakistan match. It was an incredible shot, right? But I cannot leave with complacency. Similarly, if you look at the Kantara, the movie, the last year, the one which came in the year in the last year, right? Rishabh Shetty and all, it created a lot of buzzwords, but they will always need to get up their games for the next one, right? So you cannot really bank on your previous success. You still have to come up with your creative ways, right? That is where you have to start afresh, even as if you're an experienced Scrum Master. So some tips on the product owner aspects or remedies to address their egos. And these are some of the skills that the product owner need to start developing it. Get that, ensure that relevant business experience is there. Product owner is understand the agile ways of working, incremental and iterative delivery by closely working with the Scrum Master or the coach to understand the agile ways of working, and ensure that overall product backlog management is accountable. He or she is accountable, and he prioritizes everything to ensure that what business needs, right? That business benefit mindset priorities are taken care by the product owner. And so the product owner should also act like an entrepreneur, right? And good at becoming very good at overall stakeholder management and all those things. He needs to be a decisive visionary, right? Collaborate with the engineering teams. So these are some of the traits.
Krishna sir, Sharath here, quick time check. I think we are running over time.
Yeah.
Maybe we can allow for quick 5 minutes Q&A.
Yeah. So another 2 more slides, Sharath. So I'm done. Yeah. So coming to the team member remedies. So we need to develop true team member player traits. So basically to ensure that, I mean, the increments at each and every 2 weeks of sprint, right? Something which is really useful to the market or users, that they should be keeping in mind, and understand the overall outcome of every sprint event and actively participate. Understand the quality, right? So it's a quality is not responsible to only quality testers or testers or QA members. Understand as an overall definition of done, right? Move towards developing from I-shaped skill to T-shaped skills, right? So as all of you guys, some of you guys might be knowing, I-shaped skills is you are good at only one of your skill. It could be development or testing or whatever, and we have to start developing this in moving towards becoming T-shaped skills, wherein you'll continue to focus on your primary skill, and on top of that you'll also pick up secondary skills like testing or automation, things like that. So these are some of the ways the team members can also address, and these are some of the remedies. So manager and above is, again, I think Koti also talked about it. It's very important to understand this table. Whereas typically, if you look at it, right, traditional organizations is mainly everything goes in vertical nature. How an activity is done, the communication is top down. So in agile organization, it always works down, top down, bottom up, or across, right? The purpose is to make money for the shareholders in the traditional organization, right? Whereas in the horizontal or agile organization, making money is the byproduct. It is about delighting the customers. I think this is what we also saw it in Koti's presentation also, right? It's also about empowering the team members by doing decentralized decision making to team members, right? So these are some of the primary focus. The manager should start moving away from traditional ways of working to agile ways of working. So management will always be there. So that we have to remember, right? We cannot say management as a role will go away. It will always be there in organization. It's all about how do we reorganize ourselves to ensure that we focus on value delivery than focusing only on utilization. These are the fundamental shifts that we have to bring in place. And the last one is Agile Coach Remedies. As a coach, also we should be continuously striving for continuously improving coach. As I showed you that video, right? It is about continuously improving ourselves as become a better coach, mentor, or a trainer, or a consultant, or an advisor, right? So all that we saw it in the previous slides, you need to have this, imbibe all these qualities of an effective Scrum Master, and how you can become a coach, a product owner, also to become a better product owner. You may not have a SME knowledge, but you should empathize with the product owner or the product manager to ensure that they understand the business dynamics and bring that prioritization, negotiation skills on the table, right? So all those things ensure that as a coach, this is where we need to really start commanding the respect, and also bring that growth mindset and system thinking, walking the talk is very much important, and develop the 3E technique is very important. 3E technique is basically empathize, empathize, empathize. That is one of the very important coaching trait, right? Very, very important. It's not just about agile knowledge. It is about empathizing, connecting with the people, right? Empathize. That is very much important. Unless you do that, you cannot influence your team members and your Scrum teams. So those are some of my thoughts. So here is my final thoughts. So while all these remedies are listed, keeping this true agile spirit in mind, we also need to respect that what is our overall organization dynamics, culture, and policies put in place. You have to operate within that. Otherwise, your job might also be at a threat. So these are some of my final thoughts I wanted to share with you guys. And though we talk about in theory an ideal place, 100% transparency, we strive for it, but practically everyone is looking for what is in it for me. So my tip is that strive for predominant transparency. Don't look for 100% transparency. You have to influence and see what is really realistically possible within the given context. Then you can bring that necessary change, is what I feel. Change is hard. That's a fact. But change is also one of the constant thing in life, right? So it's all about balancing it out. So we have to really understand the dynamics and play with it. So that is what is my thoughts. So I'll
Thank you, Krishna Kumar.
Go ahead,
Thank you
Gaurav.
for the great session, I would say. I think we are running short of time and we need to take a break, so we don't have time for questions as of now, but we can take the questions and get the answers from the Krishna Kumar. Right. So, Sharath, over to you. You want to share anything before we go for a break?
Yeah, let's go for a quick break, and by 7:15, let's get started with another exciting session from us.
Okay.
thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks,
all.
thanks. Yeah.